welcome aboard. Welcome to our presentation. Today, we are going to continue a 6-part series on how to do awesome peer education online. Today, we're going to be focusing on embedding metacognition into your peer education sessions. And specifically, we're going to demo something called a KWL chart. So we'll see how that goes. My name is Crystal. I am the director of the Center for Academic Success at Pierce College. And I'm also the Center for Academic Success. I'm sorry, I'm not showing my screen. Is somebody else sharing their screen? Oh, I got it. Fatima, you're sharing your screen. Okay, excuse me. I'm not only am I the Center for Academic Success Director at Los Angeles Pierce College, but I'm also one of the statewide coordinators for the California Community Colleges Success Network. That is the amazing professional learning network that hosts wonderful events like these. So every Friday we get to take over the airwaves and talk about learning assistance, and we're very happy to do it. Now today I'm setting us up, but I'm actually not presenting today. It's going to be our amazing student presenters, so we're going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Fatima?
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima. I'm a recent college graduate and former LAPC tutor. I tutored business, economics, and accounting.
Hello, I'm Cameron Brenner-Junjin. I am a political science tutor and a political science grad student at Cal State Northridge.
And hi everyone, I'm Valeria and I am an English tutor and English tutor leader at Pierce College.
All right, thank you so much. Next slide. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how today is going to work, and then we'll actually get into the fun stuff, which is metacognition. So do get ready to participate. Metacognition is all about participation. I know we're on Zoom. I know that many of you have your cameras off. You might be muted, and that is okay. That does not mean that we're not participating or paying attention, right? So there's some great ways to ensure that we have equitable and engaging participation, even in a Zoom session, even with your camera off. One of them is that chat. So find that chat feature if you haven't already. Please pull it up and tell us who you are. Tell us your name, tell us your college, and tell us what role you play at the college. Then if you'd like to speak, be recognized, you can go ahead and raise your Zoom hand, and then we will call on you. And also, we would love it if you would use those fun reaction buttons. So go to the bottom part of your screen, find the little reactions button, which is like a little happy face. And there you can see you can raise your hand. You can also give out little hearts, happy faces, surprised faces, celebrations. Feel free to practice now. Give us some love. It's a great way to participate, even though you might be on mute. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for the love. Feel free to practice raising your hand or playing with those fun buttons. So the way today is going to work is we are going to talk about metacognition and the KWL chart method from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then we're going to have a little bit of a trolley stop. If you need to go at 4 o'clock, we understand. But if you want to stay, then we've invited Megan Keebler. She is the tutoring center director or the SI director at Chaffey College. She's going to come by at 4 o'clock and she's going to share some of the metacognitive strategies that Chaffey College SI leaders use. So feel free to go at 4 or stay from 4 to 4:30 for some more metacognitive fun. Next slide. So our goals and outputs for today are to just get some fundamental understanding about what we mean by metacognition and metacognitive inquiry. And we're also going to facilitate a process called a KWL activity through a chart. We're going to use a chart today, but you don't have to use a chart. We're going to do it today, and then you can go and use it for your students later. Next slide. So in order to get our brains ready for learning, we like to wrap our arms around the task ahead. So we always start with some community agreements so we all know what this learning is going to be like. Get your brain ready to engage. We're going to do readings, watch videos, we're going to have discussions, and we're going to have some share outs. We will do breakout sessions, but we do understand that some of you are doing approximately 25 different things right now, including cooking dinner, tending to children, maybe you're in another meeting. We get that. If you can't be in a breakout session, we understand and we do not judge. just tell us in the chat that you can't be in a breakout session. You can send me a personal message or just message everyone, and we won't put you in the breakout rooms, okay? We want the breakout rooms to really be wonderful, robust discussions, and that means we don't want people in there who can't engage, right? So if you can't do it, we totally understand. Just let us know. Whether you're in the breakout or if you're just engaging in the chat or you're raising your hand, please do feel welcome to share your experiences and invite somebody else to share. It always feels nice to be heard. We're going to engage in a strategy today that can be used for students later, so get ready for that. And I would just like everybody to take a moment to invite themselves into a moment of reflection, right? So today, as we talk about metacognition, let's remember to pause, make meaning of what we're reading and seeing, synthesize what we already know with the new information, apply it to our practice, commit to doing something new next week, and share those insights with others. Next slide. So let's get into it. So what we're going to talk about today is making a metacognitive pact with our students. And by pact, I mean that we are going to agree that every time we work with a student, we're going to make it a goal to, number one, help them access their prior knowledge. What do they already know about the thing that they're trying to learn, right? We are going to try to get them to ask some questions about the thing that they want to learn. We're going to ask them to try to make some connections between subjects that they are learning or things that they already know and new topics. And four, we're going to try to get them to think about their own thinking. That is metacognition, monitoring, controlling, and recognizing one's own thoughts. So we're going to make that pact today, and we're going to show you how to do it. Next slide. It's really important to remember that learning assistance is not about giving answers, okay? Whether you're doing peer mentoring, supplemental instruction, embedded tutoring, general tutoring, sometimes those students think that they're just going to come to you and get those answers, right? That's not what we're here for. We are here to support the students as they strengthen their learning processes so that they become more independent learners. They find their own answers. And that is a lofty, amazing goal, but how in the world do we actually do that? Next slide. We're going to talk today a little bit about some theory and some practice so we can encourage our students to recognize, monitor, and improve their own thinking and learning so that they can become those stronger and more independent learners. All right, so with no further ado, I'm turning it over to our student rock stars who are going to take us through what metacognition is and how we can apply that in a tutoring session. Take it away, rock stars.
All right, thank you so much. So we think it's important to make it a goal in every session, no matter how long or short or whatever subject, to make notice thinking or metacognition reflection important and crucial in each session. Some of the ways you can do that is by accessing prior knowledge, ask questions, or making connections. And one of the ways that you can do that is through KWL. Now you're wondering, what is KWL? Don't worry, I'll tell you. So KWL, the reason why we do it is it gets students to notice and monitor their thinking, again, by accessing prior knowledge, forming their own questions, and taking the time to solidify and connect the learning. And that's all what KWL stands for. The K stands for what you know, W stands for what you want to know, and L stands for what you will learn. So we usually do it in a chart form, and this is a good way to organize and guide and help organize those thoughts, but this doesn't need to be done in a chart form. If you have those questions in mind, that's completely fine. This is just a good way to have, bring this is the first way to bring it into a session. This is kind of your scaffolding. So now you're wondering, how do I do a KWL chart? So first, you're going to invite your students to write down what they already know and a question they have. So they'll fill out the K and the W section first. You're going to use that information to tailor your session. So that's going to help you not go over what they already know as much. You're going to focus more on what they want to know, what they're struggling in, and that's going to help you, again, formulate that session. And then at the end, when the session is over, try to keep a few minutes at the end of the session to fill out that L section on what they have learned. Now, I know it's kind of difficult, just me explaining it. So let me show you how this works in an actual session. So what we're going to do is that we're going to see metacognition in action. And we're going to see a video on how someone uses a KWL chart in a session. Again, this is not perfect. Things can go wrong. That's completely fine. None of these are perfect ways. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Also, when you're watching the video, I want you to think about what moves does Grace make? How is it similar to what you already do? Or how is it different than what you already do? And are there skills or ideas here that you would also like to try? So we're going to go ahead and pull up that video and enjoy watching that video. And remember to keep those questions in mind and keep those comments coming in the chat and use those reactions as well.
All right, tell me if you cannot hear this, just go ahead and let me know.
Hey, Crystal, it's good to see you again. What can I do for you today?
Hi, Grace. Good to see you too. Hey, listen, I need some help on my essay, The Story of an Hour. I am totally lost and I have like class in 20 minutes. Is there anything you can do for me in that tiny amount of time?
Yeah, of course. That can definitely be a confusing story. So, but the good thing is you have more information tucked away in your brain than you may realize. So let me just share with you this wonderful chart that I have that can kind of guide us through our session, okay?
Okay.
So this is called a KWL chart. And we're gonna start by just saying out loud stuff you already know about the story. And then we'll try to dig up some questions that will help focus our time. Does that sound good?
Yep. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Let's do it. So let's start by you telling me what you remember from the story. Literally anything at all. There's no wrong answer.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, so there's this woman. She finds out that her husband is dead, or maybe he doesn't die. I'm actually not sure. I do remember she's happy, but then she's sad at the end. And I don't know if she's sad because he's dead or not dead. I'm actually pretty confused about that.
Okay, great. So in the first column, we can say what you know. So you just told me it's about a woman who's told her husband is dead. And then in the second column, you can write all those questions you just asked me, right? Is he dead? Why is she sad? Is she actually sad? Like, are those your questions kind of? Am I getting that?
Yeah, those are totally my questions. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, in that case, let's take 10 minutes and explore that and write down those things in the different columns, okay?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now tell me what you've learned.
Okay.
Let's use that L column, right?
Okay.
Know what you've learned.
Okay. So she's happy that he's dead because she's got more freedom. And then she finds out that he's not dead and her freedom is gone. So that makes sense because women back then didn't have very much freedom. So I can see why she would be sad about her husband being alive. Ew, that's actually really depressing.
Yeah, it is depressing. And it's also a great essay topic. So do you think that's enough to get started? Do you feel comfortable with that?
It totally is. And I got to pop into class now. So thank you for your help. And I will come back with more ideas.
Amazing. Good luck.
No way.
All right, everybody. So that was such a wonderful video. So now we're actually going to try this together, but actually using the topic of metacognition. So more meta stuff. Next. So we're going to first access your prior knowledge. Go ahead and take a moment to think about metacognition. We've talked a little bit about it throughout this presentation already. You might think about the video you just saw. So what do you know? What do you want to know? And what do you already do? So we're going to go ahead and give you all 2 minutes to think about that, write it on a notepad, and reflect. And then we will regroup.
Any questions on the task before we start thinking? All right, if you have any questions, put them in the chat or raise your hand.
All right, everybody, go ahead and finish writing down your last thought. And next, yes. So now we are actually going to move into a collaborative activity. So in a moment, you will get access to this collaborative KWL chart. For now, we are only going to focus on the first two columns, the K and the W. In the K, go ahead and write down what you know about metacognition, what you think you know about it. And in the W, we'll write what you want to know in there. Let us know if you don't have access to the document. You don't have to download it. Simply click on it and begin typing.
Okay, and just a couple of other pointers. Make sure you click on every other bullet so you don't accidentally write over somebody else. And we've got a nice sample here. So you might want to say in the K column, for example, maybe you know that metacognition means thinking about thinking. Great, write that down. And I can already see the anonymous dinosaurs rocking that W column. So put a question that you have there, like how might I use this in my SI session? Or, you know, what am I doing here? Anything at all, anything that comes to your mind, put that in that W column.
And we already see some nice questions coming up. Why is the person's head exploding on the front of the article? Nice observation. How can I effectively help students to think about the second level, thinking about how they think about their thinking, biases and conditioning? Let's see, what do we already know? Read out loud methods help. Yeah, another metacognitive strategy. Thinking about thinking, awareness of one's own thought process. Nice reflections, everybody. Thank you for participating in that. Alrighty, so moving along, now we are going to build some more knowledge about what metacognition is. Many of you already have wonderful ideas of what it is, but we're going to take a few moments to read over an article titled "What is Metacognition?" So we're going to go ahead and put that in the chat. And as you read the article, think about your question and see if you can find any insights into that question. Next. So we're going to read for 8 minutes. Feel free to start and stop anywhere you'd like. And it's okay not to finish reading the entire article. And if you'd like, at this moment, you can feel free to turn off your camera as well. Once we regroup after the 8 minutes, we are going to go into breakout rooms. So again, if you can't be in a breakout room, do let us know in the chat. Okay, are there any questions so far?
And does anybody have a hard time accessing the article? Do let us know if, you know, Google Drive isn't working for you. We can email you this article as well. So just give us your email in the chat.
Hey everybody, we'll hold silence for 8 minutes.
Hi everyone, it's great to see all y'all and great to be here. So we're going to be starting up our breakout groups. An important norm to set in these breakout groups is introducing yourself. So your name, your college, your role. It is very important that in these groups you establish this norm of introduction. When you are in the breakout groups, you can discuss one or all 4 of the following discussions. In your groups, you can discuss what surfaced when you were reading, what surfaced when you watched the video. What do you do now to help students to notice their thinking? Or even what might you try in your next session? You don't have to use one, you don't have to use all, you can choose one of what you want to discuss, but it's important that we discuss one of these topics while in our breakout groups. Next slide, please. All right, so we have a tiny little assignment task for you to do in your breakout groups. We'd like you to come up with a micro commitment. This idea of a micro commitment comes from the wonderful Chaffey College, and we loved it so much we had to share it. It was just such a brilliant idea they had. All right, so let's go over what a micro commitment is. A micro commitment is a small agreement that we will use with one of our strategies that we'll talk about today to help strengthen our classroom. So we're going to talk about these strategies and we're going to make a commitment to use one of them Monday when we start up again. All right. When we get back from our breakup groups, please put your micro commitments in the chat. If there are any questions, please let us know by raising your hands or putting it in the chat. Now, again, you're coming up with these micro commitments while in the breakout groups, just as a reminder. All right. Next slide. Oh, actually, I think this is, yes. All right. I actually think it is the next slide.
That's me.
All right.
I just had one person last minute to tell me that they could not be in a breakout room. So I think I've got everybody now. All right. So if everybody has told me that they don't want to go into a breakout room, who does not want to go into a breakout room, we've got some amazing breakout rooms ready to go. So you're going to go into your breakout rooms, discuss one of those topics. We will have 14 minutes in those breakout rooms, and your only homework is to just come up with one tiny little micro commitment, something that you want to do moving forward. You might steal somebody else's idea or get inspiration from an article or the video.
It's always great to share. Always great to share.
Does anybody have any questions before we go into our breakout rooms? All right, in that case, I'm opening them up and we'll see you back here in 14 minutes. Happy sharing, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to see you all again, and a couple of videos now too. That's wonderful to see. All right, so I understand that those breakouts were brimming with cool ideas and awesomeness. Always good to hear. Now we're just gonna do that last stage where we kind of synthesize our learning and form some more permanent connections in our brains. So take it.
Hello, everyone. I was part of some very wonderful conversations. Everyone's doing a fantastic job. Let me just start with that. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Oh, wait, before we do that, can everyone share me a micro commitment they made in the chat? I forgot about that. See, even us leaders forget stuff. It happens all the time. So could everyone just share a little micro commitment they made in the chat for like about a minute?
Yeah, so just tell us, is there one thing that you want to try going forward? And if you want to raise your hand and share it with us, we would love that, even better. So we just understand that not everybody wants to share in these Zoom breakouts, but we would absolutely love it if anybody would like to raise their hand and share out.
On top of asking how they arrived to the incorrect answer, ask them to compare their new answer to their old one and how they differ in of themselves and how the process is getting there was different. That's a great point. Having students explain their process is a great way of seeing how they're thinking. It's a great way of having them be metacognitive, thinking about thinking. They're thinking about how I got there. So then they can actually see where they might have made a mistake. So that's a great share out.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share their micro commitment? Who took an idea from somebody else that they're going to try on Monday?
Here's another great one. Doing better to help thinking of others to surface, like K through W, before we start working on the issue together. Great. That's great. It's great to have that kind of thinking. Thinking about thinking is one of the key concepts here in learning. When it's info overload, focus on what you heard and then build from there. Yes, it's often there's just too much information flying you at once. And so just focusing on what you've heard is a great way of processing what you're dealing with.
Beautiful. Anybody else want to share? And again, we would love to hear your voice too. So if you'd like to raise your hand and share, we would love that every bit as much. Go ahead. Post lesson journals. Very cool.
Ooh, like
Identify
that.
things that they learned. I love it.
Oh, we have Susan's raising her hand.
All right, go ahead, Suzanne. Could you pronounce your name for us so we get it right?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Okay, great. Sorry.
So in the Google Doc, one of the things I put on there was that I was interested on how do I break it down a barrier if a person is in, before they even head into the KWL process with me. And Cameron was providing some examples of things that he does. And I said, little do you know, you just answered one of the questions that I put on the doc. and it was like, he said, I really just try to help them find the positive inside, the emotions about the process, and to identify kind of like I don't know how to say it, but it's kind of like he's empowering them as a learner by the environment he's setting. And it was always a very positive, affirming, and like I said, it was more of like an empowerment for them to say, don't put these barriers in front of you. I'm here not to judge. We're going to do this together, but you're just as vital in this process as I am. So I liked the ways he was trying to help set that stage of a commitment for someone else to engage. So.
Love that. Yeah. A lot of that norm setting that you could do right in the beginning, where you tell them, like, we're all here as peers. I'm a student just like you. I struggled through this class. I know some of it's hard, but I know you're really capable. Setting the environment up before we even start into what do you know and what do you want to know is just such a wonderful step. Thank you, Suzanne. Really appreciate you focusing on that norm setting. That's great. All right, beautiful. Shall we move on to L, Cameron?
Yes, indeed. That was a wonderful share out, everyone. Thank you so much. Great, just marvelous. Thank you. Okay, so the next section we're going to be going to is we're going to go back to the KWL chart. Could you hit the next slide, please? Thank you. So we're going to go back to the KWL chart, and we're going to be filling out the last section. That is the L. This is the section where you're going to write what you've learned today. Now, you can write about anything you've learned during the readings, the video, our discussions, anything that you have discovered during this process. Just write that down. It's great to share. We love when y'all share. It's amazing and it's wonderful, and that's what makes a healthy environment, is when we share. So please write down anything you discovered today during this process. We are going to give you about 2 minutes to do this. And so go back to the collaborator document. I'm going to reshare the link in the chat if anybody needs it again, and just fill out the L section with what you've learned today.
Oh, wow. I see somebody already pre-filled this out. Yes. Share the KWL in the next session. Remind the students that they are not without knowledge. Oh, I just love that. Yes, helping them feel empowered in the process. That is such a beautiful idea, and one that I think we just need to focus on so much in education, especially in peer learning. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, meta memory and meta comprehension. All right. Beautiful. Yes, metacognition is both rational and emotional. They are friends, right? What you're feeling and what you're thinking are really good friends, and they influence each other a lot, right? And so back to Suzanne's point, that taking time to help students feel at ease, feel empowered, feel like they have something to bring to the table really, really helps the cognition and helps us remember things, make better connections, our affective filters are lowered, and we're in a much better position to learn new material. Thank you. Oh yeah, somebody was thinking about that automatic thinking. Excellent. It's a lot of really great research out there on automatic thinking. I don't know if anybody's ever read Blink by Malcolm McDowell, I think is his name. Wonderful book about sort of like our split second thinking and how powerful it is and how important it is. Thank you. Blink, yes, Malcolm Gladwell. I don't know why I always say McDowell. That's an actor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne. And you should also watch Tank Girl by Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm Gladwell, that's it. Yes, blind spot, hidden biases of good people. Wonderful. Thank you, Jeannie. Okay, keep those knowledge building pieces coming. We're just gonna wrap it up and get ready for our next section for those of you who can join us for the next set of awesomeness. So what's next? If you haven't already, please do share your micro commitment in the chat. We want to hear about what resonated with folks. It's a great way for us to understand what folks are getting out of this, and it helps us build better presentations in the future, and also helps you solidify and make concrete and real the change that you want to see in the world. So we would love to see that. If you have to go, we understand. We're all busy and it's Friday. Before you go though, Cameron is going to put a link in the chat to an evaluation form. So please do fill out that evaluation form. That helps 3CSN have vital information about how we can improve this series, and it also helps with our statewide funding. So make sure you take that survey. We're here every Friday at 3 o'clock. So 3 to 4, we'll do a large group concept, and then 4 to 4:30, we'll have some more discussion and sharing. Next week, we're going to be talking about growth mindset and the interaction between growth mindset and learning strategies. So we would love, love, love it if you could come back then. If you're going to stay, then we're going to have Megan Keebler of Chaffey College come in, and she's going to share some of the strategies that she uses. And then we're going to ask you about the strategies that you use for metacognition as well. So if you, we didn't do the Shira character thing. Usually we ask you to count the Shira characters, but I forgot to tell you to do that. But next time we'll get you to count those Shira characters and make sure that you do that evaluation. If you have any questions, or you think you'd like to do something like this, email me. It's just my first name, Crystal, at 3csn.org. All right. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you soon.